things behind the scenes of all these preview cards that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It feels like I worked on the set so long ago, and we can finally dig into it and reveal a lot of the cool stuff that's in the product, which I'm stoked for. And also just stoked about talking about the draft a little bit too, which is a favorite of mine.
Absolutely. So we got a bunch of preview cards we're going to talk about. We got some sections. We got some usual suspects, trinkets, legends, spice, all that sort of jazz. But Gavin, why don't you tell us first of all what is Commander Masters and what's unique about this product?
Totally. So Commander Masters is a reprint set. The main set is all reprints from Magic's history. A lot of Commander staples in there, and you'll be seeing tons of them today as we go through the show. Now, Commander Masters, of course, you can just buy packs and crack them and get cool cards for your Commander decks, but you can also draft the set, which is something I'm always very passionate about, helping pioneer Commander draft in Commander Legends. And it's a lot of fun to me because when you sit down at the table, you draft. You can draft with as few as 4 people, or as many as 8+, which is awesome too. And at the end of it, you all have
sweet, huh,
decks
guys?
that are all about the same power level, right? You don't have to have that conversation of how strong is your deck. You're like, well, we just all drafted them. I passed you the cards, right? You know what's in there. And when you're done with it, what's really cool is you get to kind of have the starter of your own next Commander deck, which is a blast. So I've got an article coming out later this week that's a refresher on how to do Commander draft, and it's a lot of fun. There's also, we're not going to be talking about this part today, but the main set is all reprints. There are also 4 Commander decks coming out, and those Commander decks do have new cards. The themes, just as a recap, are Slivers, 5 colors, 0 color Eldrazi, so that's pretty cool.
That's a big one,
3 color Jeskai Planeswalkers, and Abzan Enchantress. So they're pretty cool themes and kind of a bunch of fan favorite or very highly requested themes. And then finally, my role on the set, just so everyone out there knows, is I was the really early vision designer for the set. I started working on this product as I've wanted to do it for a long time. I've had this pitch of Commander Masters for ages, and people were on board to do it, and a lot of people helped make this happen. But then early on in the set design process, I got offered Doctor Who Commander, and I was like, well,
also excited about Doctor Who Commander. It's gonna be legit.
Yeah. So I handed it over to Brian Hawley and Corey Bowen to take the main set and Commander decks the rest of the way, respectively. So I kind of led the initial vision for the set, and I'll be talking about some of those choices in the draft today.
He generally does a pretty good job with sets.
Week. Brian was going to be on the show today, but he unfortunately got sick, so Gavin.
Oh, no.
No problem.
Yeah,
I can talk about Magic.
You can talk about Magic and Commander and all that sort of stuff. So,
and we'll just say before we get started, hats off to both of them. They did a great job leading the set all the way through. So even though it's just my initial vision, and they, really built the rest of the set
next hour will decide
it's a fantastic
if prices
overall,
skyrocket
just kind of like
or stay around that same range it's at, or even drop.
We've got this section called the usual suspects.
Come on.
Because it's going to be a lot of the
reprints.
things people expect. It's the kind of stuff they don't even guess in chat because they just know what's going to be here.
But they look cooler than ever.
We've got some cool versions. So let's start off with number 1, obvious inclusion, Sol Ring.
Yeah, and Sol Ring is finally here.
That's Sol Ring.
Actually not in the main set of Commander Legends or Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate. It's here in the main set here. You can draft it. You can put it in your draft deck, which is sick. It has this awesome
That is a pretty sweet borderless.
New artwork by Mark Poole. This awesome
Mark
Urza
Poole.
flavor text.
What?
That's really incredible.
That's
and we were talking
pretty
about
good Mark
some
Poole
ways
there,
to
huh?
make Commander Masters feel a little different from the previous 2 Commander draft sets. And while we wanted to make sure that there were like some cards that you were going to felt like made it.
How much do you think that Sol Ring will be?
Is such an iconic card. Yes, it's really strong.
The
and limited.
fancy one.
Yes, it's very powerful. But hey,
15,
let's make sure
10,
you can have access
probably
to
10.
it. So it's here in the set at uncommon. You can draft it, put it in your deck, and draw it on turn 1, make everyone.
Surprised they didn't up
Tip to everyone.
up it to a rare for that because it's fancy.
Pick it.
Probably a good pick. Pick
it.
Yeah.
All right. Number
legit.
2 on the obvious list is Command Tower. It's right there. In the
yes.
There it is.
We're going to do the thing.
Command Tower is here, and once again, there's an awesome new borderless.
I like the borderless. You got the Birds of Paradise flying through there.
One fun thing that was really
is that him right
there?
there?
Is getting to take a lot of these commons and uncommons that don't often receive booster fun. Like you don't really get Command Tower booster fun very often because it's not in it's in Commander decks, which don't often get booster fun.
Right.
Here we're
would look good in my
really cool
Ren and Siri deck with the
and I love seeing it. Yeah.
90s.
It's a good card to always put in your Commander deck.
What is it?
When you
Trapper
draft,
Keeper art.
The packs are 20 cards.
The rainbow
so
theme,
60
that's pretty
cards
sweet.
At the end.
I like
You're
it.
gonna only need like 35 or so of those as spells.
Better than the.
Spend a pick or 2 on Command
I mean, this
Tower,
art's
right?
cool,
Makes
but
your mana
this
work
art's
and helps you
fun.
cast spells.
And you absolutely should.
What's next? What's next?
Another high pick here, and another common inclusion is Arcane Signet.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Once again, with some brand new artwork by
That
Drew
is some
Tucker.
wild
and I love the
art.
cadre of artists we got to grab for this. It's a mana rock. I mean, I probably don't need to explain to anyone watching the show.
What
it's a
does
mana
this
rock,
do,
it's
Gavin?
powerful. We probably shouldn't have made it. It's super strong, and
you said that before. Yeah,
you should draft it because it's always good, right? And
yeah, it's
one
cool
thing
art
that
though.
you should note as you're drafting is normally when you're building your commander
You'll see
deck,
these
you start
arts,
off
the
with your deck
foils of
with
these.
8
They'll
mana
be
rocks,
pretty
10
high
mana
in the
rocks,
beginning, I
whatever.
bet.
But in draft, you got to actually get those in your deck to draft them.
Because everyone always wants a fancy version of the
really
commander
good.
staples.
They're super flexible. They will always go in your deck.
I am interested to draft this.
It's
probably pretty fun because I know.
All right, another
Baldur's
card
Gate was
we
fun to
see
draft.
quite
Very
often.
fun to draft.
It's less of an obvious
Pre-release was
inclusion
awesome.
than our first three, but still a pretty common inclusion. Is
I also don't know if I'm
Path of
allowed to be
Ancestry.
rebroadcasting this,
and
but
this
I
was a
am.
card I
so.
designed all the way back in Commander 2017. Still big today. It fixes your mana, which is awesome.
Both of those arts are
and
awesome.
Lets you scry at
I mean, I
least
kind of
one
like
pass to your
would have liked to
commander.
see this
Keep in
one
mind
in
this
a
format, you will often have 2
borderless
because of a partner,
with the
so
steps of
that'll
water.
scry even more. A lot of creature types to share.
Mark
with
Poole
your
again,
commander
man.
there. So it's just
Oh,
a
I
nice
like-
card. You're basically always going to play
see
this if you
the,
have it as a mana fixer.
the
that you can use
aminals.
for scrying.
There's a turtle.
And once again, some awesome new Mark Poole artwork.
Very
and
cool.
I just love the artists we reached back into to grab all this stuff. And you know, we wanted to have all
What's
the
next?
commons
What's
and uncommons
next?
you would expect. So here's some cards that you'll open a pack and be like, yeah, this will go right into my commander deck.
Oh yeah,
Now,
right in.
chat picked up on something you just said there about partner.
Yeah.
So
Uh-oh,
how does
got
that
partners
work in
again.
draft?
But yeah, we were gonna get there in a little bit, but I guess we'll pick
No,
it
we're
up
going to
now.
get to it now.
Oh,
It's now.
Oh, well, that's wow. What
Now.
a great, what a great segue. A little bit. That's now. So partner.
Yeah.
Here's something that's really interesting with the design of this set. So when we were designing Commander Legends, we kind of figured out partner was the glue that made the whole thing run together. Because when you're drafting, you have to be able to pivot colors, and when you're locked into a 2-color legend,
Partner
it's
is
really
fun.
hard. So with Commander Legends, we made a bunch of new partners. With Commander Legends 2 Battle for Baldur's Gate, we made a bunch of
We price
backgrounds,
gouged.
So we had that as a
I mean,
mechanic.
we made some
One of
cool
the unique
cards.
challenges for Commander Masters was we can't make new cards for it, so how are we going to do that? How are we going to make that work? And we tried a few
I thought there
things,
were some
but we
new
came up with
cards
a
coming out.
really
I mean, I know
cool
it's a master set,
draft-specific
but
rule. So in Commander Masters
know, maybe
Limited
not.
and only Commander Masters Limited, you can use any 2 mono or 0 colored
Ooh.
legends as though they had partner,
Okay.
which is really fun. So if you have any blue legend, any red legend that's monocolored, you can team them up and have them be your commanders together, which is really
Interesting,
fun
interesting.
because you get to make some pairings you've never
So
been
that's
able
just
to play
like an
before in
unwritten
Magic
rule
history,
now?
right? You can put cards together that normally cannot sit in your command zone together for a really fun, really unique, limited experience. And there's a lot of fun mixing and matching of classic legends you've been able to do here. And it was something we came up with in design. It was such a fun wrinkle. And initially we're like, is this gonna work? Are people gonna enjoy this? And like after 2 play tests, it was clear this is the way to go. It is just awesome. And there's so many fun combos.
And so just to be clear for
Puppy
everyone,
playing
this
with
is
me?
for
Puppy
the
playing?
limited draft environment only.
Correct.
Oh, so just
And it's
draft.
only for mono or 0 colored legends.
That's right. So if you draft
okay,
2
okay,
colored
okay.
legends, you can't have a 4-color deck. That's very strong.
Gotcha.
But you can play monocolor with 2 blue legends. You can play blue and red with a mono blue and mono
Okay.
red legend, and so on and so forth. And then yeah, if you want to rule 0, that
Well, that'll be
in your
fun at,
other commander games
pre-release.
You can, but it is not a rule of the format. So
All right, cool. So, okay, now to help
Especially
make
if you get to that
happen,
third
we
pack
did
and you're like, oh
reprint
man, I
our
really
card
want
from
this
previous Commander Legends. We were
monocolor.
talking about partner and all that sort of
Slap
stuff.
it in
So
there.
Next preview card,
Partner it up.
kind of a usual suspect in this sort of draft environment. So talk
I
about
think
the
we all
Prismatic
have this
Piper.
card.
yeah, so the
If you
Prismatic
opened
Piper is a very funny card. 'Cause
any-
it's one of the only Magic cards we've ever made where the goal is really to not have you use it. Prismatic Piper is a funny one because it basically
if you ever
when you're
open
drafting
Commander Legends, you have
need
this.
to have a commander at the end of it. Your deck has to be able to match color identity. And so Prismatic Piper is like the I didn't actually draft a legend that I needed. I have this. So it's kind of like a basic land.
Right.
You always have access to it. You can always grab it if you need to.
I mean, I'm
and
sure
put
I
it
knew
in
they
there.
had to reprint it.
But
They should have done
just so
different
everyone
art
out there's
though.
aware, almost no one has ever had to use this card. In Commander Legends 1, I almost never saw this used. In Commander Masters, only one.
So
one
why
playtest ever
did you
did anyone
reprint
use this
it?
card. So I really would not expect to use this, but it is always there as a fail-safe, just in case you're drafting, you end up with a mono blue.
Are they putting it in
commander,
every
you need
pack
a red
again?
partner to
Isn't that
pair
how it
with
was in Commander Legends,
okay,
every
you bring the
pack?
Prismatic Piper, and it'll get the job
Which is
done.
like,
It'll be there.
It'll be there. But,
It'll be there.
it'll be
But
there.
I think
Don't you
what we
worry.
found when we were playtesting Commander Legends originally is people were really worried about not having a commander, even though it almost never actually happened. So just having that release valve makes you feel a little safer.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have a
If
deck at the
there's
end of the
a
draft.
couple
You won't have to
legends
go
in every
walk away and be
pack,
like,
I
can't
mean,
play Magic, which
Yep.
is,
Come on.
the idea.
Now, we're not going to dive
Not a fan of that card,
too deep
to be honest
into
with
the
you.
draft environment today. But one of the things we did want to highlight is that the draft environment is in many ways shaped by downshifts as well. So while we're on the subject of the draft environment, Let's show one of those downshifts.
What is it?
We can talk a little bit about
Extinguish All Hope. Okay.
Into it.
Yeah, totally. So here's
cool
a
art.
downshift of Extinguish All Hope, previously a rare, now down to uncommon, with brand new artwork. So
I like the art.
First of all, yeah, there's a handful of downshifts in the set. I mean, one of the things that about Commander,
I think that does make more sense as an uncommon for the cost of it.
To help clear the board away. Board sweepers, not traditionally common or uncommon
I mean,
effects. So we brought some of those down. Now,
borderline rare, in my opinion.
It's not like every card is downshifted. A lot of cards are just played straight at their normal rarity. But there are some effects we really needed to get in there, and board sweepers are one of them. So there's a number of board sweepers in the set at uncommon, and this is a cool one here with Extinguish All Hope all the way.
Just a card that pissed everyone off at pre-release.
And for Pauper fans,
when we did Baldur's Gate, we didn't.
Well, so stay tuned.
We had 10. I think we had 10 people show up pre-release, so we did 2 pods of 5.
You normally would only see in rare and some.
It was one of the most fun times I've ever had playing Commander, especially with a Commander draft.
Now,
it was fun.
I think
so I'm really looking forward to this
draft.
In like
tomorrow.
3 weeks.
Tomorrow. Right. But that's a very specific wrath. Is that one of the archetypes in the format, in the draft format?
There's not an enchantment deck really in the format, so it's mostly just it's a cool black sweeper. It's
the old sweeper.
Downshift down, but there are certainly some archetype downshift.
Are they going to show us anything spicy here?
You want to keep an eye out for. So there's a lot of cards that are like we downshifted specifically, so it's that common.
Maybe if I read the stream, it would tell me what's going to happen in the stream.
There's a lot of really cool legends we downshiftted that are really, really exciting. So I can't wait for you to see some of those. And I've got an article coming out tomorrow with a ton of preview cards talking about the archetypes a little bit, some of these downshifts. So stay tuned for that.
All right.
All right. What do we got?
Now
what do we got?
Move on to trinkets. Before we get into this, yes, I know.
Swords.
Traditionally 1 mana.
Yeah, can't trinket mage for any of the cards
we're
about to show.
You can't trinket mage for any of the things we're about to show. They're all 2 mana, but
swords.
It works. It
Something.
Does. I'm going with it.
No swords.
Anyway, so obviously you talked earlier about 2 mana rocks and how important they are to Commander, and so we
What do we got?
Some more of those.
Come on.
And we've got a list of 6 here. That we're
okay.
About, that are not as common in inclusions. We haven't printed them as much. So let's start out with one of the oldest 2 mana rocks in the game, Felwar Stone.
Yeah,
okay.
This has some really cool new artwork.
Cool art.
This is just such a great rock. It fixes your mana. It'll often in a Commander game get you all 5 colors, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you just, once again, a card you're always going to want to play, right? It's like an Arcane Signet style card. And
and multicolored, you pretty much need that for a 3-color deck, 4-color.
So it's cool to be able to do
even
it
5-color.
and give it some fun new artwork to boot and a new life. But it's the other 5 cards.
Okay, what else?
I'm really excited about.
The other 5 cards have been printed twice.
Oh, so it's gonna add some value.
The last one was 2014.
Oh yeah.
We'll see if.
What do we got? Come on.
Some people in chat have them.
Yeah.
I started playing around the time that these were first printed, and they were some of my favorite cards.
So borderless, they're going to be expensive.
The blue one.
Yeah, and these have been asked for a lot. Like people have been asking for these for a while, and one of the things when we made the Commander reprint set is, hey, people are asking for this card for Commander. Let's put this here.
Let's slap it in there.
Blake?
I think that's enough to do. Yes. Let's show the first one.
Let's see it.
So.
The medallion. Oh, we kind of knew these were cones, right?
Of these, they come in regular and foil etched.
I have the.
These were first printed in
Nemesis Tempest. Yeah.
Really strong.
Let's say I have the Pearl Medallion Tempest.
Mana Rock is great because it's a 2 mana card.
Did have it sitting here somewhere.
Taps for mana. The thing about these that make them extra powerful is if you cast multiple spells in a turn, it'll reduce all of them.
It was on my desk. I don't know what happened to it.
Multiple mana. And that's not even counting things like
these are good reprint, really good reprint.
Untap land spells.
These will be.
Untap your lands.
I want to say the Nemesis ones were decently priced. These will probably be
powerful because they just net you mana.
$5 rares.
So these are cards that, especially for high.
So this is going to be etched version.
But even for just
surprised we didn't get the borderless.
Very good. And one thing I love about them is they incentivize mono and 2-color Commander decks, which is often what you're drafting here. And they're way better in mono white deck than in a white blue green deck. So. Really, that emerald is always nice to have in my mono green because and at rare,
I'm only playing green.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I started playing in Ice Age.
Good cards.
One of my first full releases, and I've put these.
Especially if they're doing that limited with the add the mono colors together.
Yeah, really
got a
strong
blue,
cards.
got a
Really
red. You can put a
excited to
sapphire and
have those
ruby
back.
medallion in there.
And I believe
Makes
these are the
your
first
casting
cards that
costs a
appear
little
in
bit
foil,
better.
right? Because
I like
Temp
it.
foils,
Good addition.
and the Commander Deck didn't have foils.
I think that's correct. Should be.
Yeah, you can get them in
these
awesome looking foil-less version.
These are going to be in the decks.
Absolutely.
You think they'll be in the decks?
All right, and I do have the
Maybe.
Pearl. I have some cards on this stack here. We can
we'll
maybe look at the Pearl a little bit later.
Ooh,
kind of go through these.
cards.
All right, now of course this is Commander Masters. We need sweet legends.
What do we got?
So let's
New
talk
legends?
about some of those sweet legends.
Any new ones?
We've
Bueller?
seen that there are colorless cards in this set. There's a colorless Commander deck. Are there colorless legends that you can try to build with?
Well, we did mention earlier 0 color legends also apply, and there are just a couple, maybe some iconic ones. This next one pairs well with Soul Ring. So
it does pair well with
if
Soul
you
Ring.
happen to draft Soul Ring,
okay, yeah.
It's a little tricky to cast, but very rewarding when
What do we got?
we put it up on the screen here.
Let's see Kozilek the Great Distortion.
What is that?
3 different versions there, the regular, foil
Borderless.
deck, and Kozilek is one of the funky ones to get the borderless profile. I love just
It's the zoomed in
the idea of putting a borderless
view of
a profile
Kozilek
of Kozilek, as if there's like
as he's coming out of the foreskin.
Also, it's so huge, right? It takes up like the whole frame. It's great. But yeah, this card is strong. It'll draw you a ton of cards. And while there's not, you can't just add waste into your deck in this format. There's plenty of colorless ramp.
I don't know if I have this Kozilek.
There are ways to get colorless mana in the set. So you can draft this and play it. You will have to play a monocolored deck if you do that, because you'll probably have this plus a monocolored legend.
Right.
So it's a little trickier, but it's really
Is it
fun
going to be
decide and
in
make
the
happen. Every now and then in draft you'll be able to pull it off. And of course,
deck?
this is also one of the premier colorless commanders for just colorless
I don't.
decks in
What
general.
is
So it's a
the
great one to open.
commander
And if
for
you
the
buy, say,
colorless
that
deck?
colorless
I don't
Recon
remember.
I was talking about.
Oh.
Well, this card will go right in there.
Oh, it goes right in it, so it's not in it already.
All right.
Okay, gotcha.
Next up,
What do we got?
We have another monocolored legend and another oldie but goodie.
Who is it?
Chainer, Dementia Master.
Yeah, this is all the way fresh from Torment, and kind of a style of card we don't really do that much anymore.
All nightmares
all
get
nightmares
plus
on
one. Oh,
the
that's
battlefield,
cool.
which is kind of unusual.
It's really
It brings things back
right
over
on.
and over.
I don't
which
think
is
I've ever
kind
really
of
paid
rough
attention to
gameplay, but
this.
Hey, it's a reprint set. It's Commander Masters.
Yep.
You can handle this. And to me, this is like an OG Commander. I remember
all
building
right.
Commander decks way back in the day, and it was like, let's build our Chainer deck and see what happens. So it's a fun one. Note that it does exile all nightmares. If your opponent happens to have a nightmare on the
some
battlefield,
nightmare
just go kill it when it dies.
type.
It's always a fun little wrinkle.
Yeah,
And this is an
yeah.
example of a monocolored legend that you could put in your command zone with another monocolored legend in the set. So you
Yeah.
can make some really fun team ups. As you say, have a blue
And
commander
put
that
that
self-mills
jet
you a little bit, and then Chainer
medallion
in,
in
your command zone,
there.
and you get this kind of 1-2 punch going on. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's next?
All right, next up we have another monocolored legend, another big favorite in the format.
Who is it?
It's Krenko, Mob
Ooh.
Boss.
Yep. I mean, this is
I love the
premier
art.
Goblin Commander, certainly one of the premier Goblin Commanders.
He's got the
And
schnauzer.
this card can get out of hand.
The
so quick.
schnauzer of all
Drop it down,
schnauzers.
Tap it. You make some Goblin tokens. Next turn, you make more tokens. Also, if you happen to draft another mono red Goblin Commander, you can really build your mono
There we
red
go.
Goblin deck and go to town by having
That would be
more
fun.
Goblins around. So this is just a card that is really, when I think of Commander, this is like a hyper popular Commander card.
Lot of
Love
Goblin.
it here in the set.
Yeah.
That would be.
Well,
I
it's
mean,
another
I've
one of
never
those
built a
cards that we
goblin,
talked
but that
about
would be
as
the
there
commander
can
to
be some
use. I
cool
mean,
things
just
with
to
pairings. If you
continue to pump
have
out.
another commander
Pump
that
out more
allows you to
goblins.
sacrifice creatures for an effect.
Just
this creates a ton of
exponentially
creatures.
grows as you
Sacrifice
get more
them. Do a
gobbies.
thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about the draft archetypes in my video and article tomorrow, but
Okay.
it's really funny to combine
excited
them
for
that way. So there's a
Spice.
go wide deck, for example. Hey, Krenko's awesome to go
Yeah.
wide with.
Where's
There's a
that
sacrifice
Spice?
deck. Hey, it's awesome to sacrifice too. So
What
finding those little
makes this
synergies in
set
draft is really
expensive
cool
as
and
shit?
neat, and kind of only works with
And
this
I'm gonna be
bundled
honest,
draft
I didn't
partner pairing.
until recently realize that
All right,
the
next up. Now, I know I've seen some comments.
collector
about
box was
the
4 packs like
profiles
double
and people
masters,
are a little
and I
weirded
was
out
like,
by it.
wow, I mean,
For my money, this
225 isn't
profile
terrible,
on this
but
next card is
4
gorgeous.
packs
forward to
again,
this.
come
Yes,
on.
play
Yeah.
Commander, modern,
Yep.
you know, it's going to be a hot one.
Like,
and,
why-
yeah,
why
when I
do
saw
they
this, I
do
was
that?
Struck immediately. It's a gorgeous
4
card.
packs.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at Azusa Lost but
Oh.
Seeking, and there is that
Been printed a few times,
profile on
but
the right.
a
And
good
brand new
modern
cards, too,
card.
to boot.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
pretty
So
nice.
talk about
Played in
Azusa.
my
Yeah, so this card, in
Amy
addition
the
to being
Titan
a modern
deck.
All-Stars, another like classic
just
Commander
pump
deck.
out them
Like,
lands,
you know
baby.
what Green likes doing? playing extra lands. So it's pretty easy to ramp out of hand with
this borderless is pretty. I like that.
Worlds in play, you can go kind of nuts with it.
I know some people saw the spoilers, some early spoilers with this profile picture with just color. I mean, it's different. It'll look really good in foil. This green is gonna bling bling for sure.
Yeah, I think as people see more of these profile pictures, they'll pick out their favorites and the ones that they like. I think the humanoid ones.
I didn't even realize the Kozilek was supposed to be this style too.
The ones like Kozilek, because it's silly. It's just like, yeah, no.
The human ones definitely look more.
Look over here while I get your good side, and we're gonna see another one of those.
More normal, more like a Pokemon.
You know, we've never done this. What I'm about to say before, actually, it's really exciting. The draft archetype for blue-green is ramp. I know that's never happened. It's a brand new kind of deal, and so Azusa very good at your blue-green ramp.
Very
deck,
good.
So.
Yeah, that's one to, if you get that in a draft, you're picking that sucker
up. Well, only half of your commander, right? Because one of the problems with Azusa is you cast it, it's sick on turn 3, and on turn 8 you're like, well, I'm kind of out of lands to play.
It's a 1/2.
But when it's only 1 of 2 commanders, you're like,
but you get all those lands in, so you're set, man.
All right, well, that sounds okay.
Yeah.
All right, next up, another commander favorite is Carador Ghost Chieftain. This one's been around for a bit and was not one of the original, but, you know, an early on made for commander.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was in the original set of commander decks.
It might have been. I'm hedging my bets there.
It's a really cool card.
That's cool.
And one thing you'll note about this is I think the first 3-color card we're showing off today. So a lot of the format is built around the monocolor.
Very cool, very cool.
Team up. There are of course some 2-color legends in the set as well. But we wanted to make sure to have all.
He's got like his stamp on here.
Cards like Carador. There's some 3-color cards in the set as
different.
And in Commander Draft, the more colors you add into your deck, the more powerful you can get because you just have more cards in the draft pool you can play. So in general, if you see a 3-color card, that's a really exciting card that can bring you into an archetype, and especially early on in the first pack, you'll want to.
It's good, but it's tough in a like the limited draft environment. Unless you're finding a way to mill cards early on, it's going to be expensive to get that thing in.
It's pretty straightforward and simple, but really
some sack or mill action.
So it's an oldie but really a goodie.
To make it worth it.
I have a Carador deck myself. I hate commander tax. I love getting around commander tax. This one lets you do that.
I know it's great making your spells cost less.
Exactly.
So sign me up.
All right.
What do we got?
Speaking of 3 colors and speaking of non-humanoid portraits, let's look at Maelstrom Wanderer. Classic.
Oh, that portrait's weird.
Yeah, coming in hot all the way from the Plane Chase 2, I believe. This card is a blast. This is an all-time favorite commander.
Cascade, nice.
This is one of the most popular commanders in this color combination. The Cascade, all your stuff having haste is just strong. And when you're ramping up in this format, this is one of those things you definitely
this is a fun one.
Yeah, it's just a strong card. If
Get it in and have some fun.
I'm taking it. You know, one kind of fun story I'll tell is when I was playing Commander Legends 1.
Rare.
The very first thing I did was make what I call a proof of concept, where we just, I just in my free time basically built out a draft environment using all pre-existing cards, not unlike Commander Masters. And Maelstrom Wanderer was one of the first cards I put into my original prototype for Commander Legends 1, just to prove that draft could even work, whatever that was, 6-7 years ago. And to see it finally here in a Commander Draft format being as awesome as when I envisioned it back then.
I mean, Cascade is always nice.
And after the draft, if you never played with it in a Commander deck, you build a Commander deck around it. It's sick.
Yeah. Blue-green, ramp archetype, so you're definitely getting some value off of this one.
And now there's probably some red cards you want to play too.
Oh, maybe 1 or 2. All right, what do we got? Spice time. Spice.
I'll caveat this a little bit. So my
textured.
I didn't do this preview plan for the first time.
Oh, who's doing it these days?
Oh, piece of candy.
Shout out to Trick.
But
Bruno?
I still get to ask.
Birdo's barking.
And so I asked for some. There were some other cards in here. One of the cards in this section is a personal favorite of mine. It's not going to blow anyone's socks off, but I love the card because it's blue and it does a thing.
It does a thing.
And the other cards are pretty darn powerful. So
one of them is not blue, but isn't like an honorary blue
it's
card.
It's like an honorary blue card because it like draws a bunch of cards essentially.
All right, Spice. Are these all textured?
Let's take a look first of all at land tax.
Woo! What a reprint. All the way from the early days of Magic. This card has been played for ages. And just make sure you hit your land drops turn after turn.
I need to look that one up right now.
This card. And the thing to keep in mind with land tax too is those extra lands you're getting into your hand, you can just convert them into other resources. Anything that makes you discard cards for effects, anything that lets you loot them away.
So land tax right now.
Played in Magic for ages. It is a super strong card. And for 1 white mana, it's going to probably draw you at least 3 lands, if not 6,
Lowest
12 lands.
priced version, $20 from
not the green player. It's
Battle Royale box set.
And while I do normally make fun of deck thinning,
so
like, oh yeah,
this foil etched one will probably be mid-30s, I'd say.
I've played games where I've gotten to the point with land tax where it's just like, oh, there's nothing. There's literally
because even in Double
Masters,
it's still a $35 card.
Yeah, it's just all gone.
And like foil version 50 plus. So
what were we thinking back then? You know,
I don't know.
I'm surprised they didn't pick a new art though.
But Legends, Legends.
I would have liked if they did the old art.
Powerful Magic card.
Very powerful Magic card. All right.
I think we last saw it in, was it Battle Bond or maybe a Master Set?
The old art?
It's been a bit. I'd have to look it up.
But I mean, talk about a Commander card. I mean,
Come on.
Commander since
that creep.
It's a truly classic Commander card.
That'd have been a good one.
And really sweet to have it back here.
Absolutely. All right. Next up is the personal favorite for mine. I'm
personal favorite.
caveating this for a little bit. I love this card. I lobbied for it to be on this list because I like talking about evacuation. Evacuation, it just does something that like no other card does. Yeah, sure, Cyclonic Rift might, do the whole thing.
Evacuation.
But this feels way more fair. It's like a blue wrath. It's an instant speed.
Not as spicy as I expected.
I love this card. We now get a foil etched version.
I guess they're just thinking spicy and like it does a lot of stuff because value-wise. This is a $2 card.
Making sure that you have access to those board sweepers, just ways to clean up the board or get rid of all those pesky tokens. Great, and the fact you can reset your own cards. I know you're a fan of.
I mean, even like the Stronghold version, $2.
Yeah, so it's
the oldest version there.
Necessarily, but it's great to reset your own ETB creatures and use them again. So.
And once again, not a new art, which I don't know why they do this.
Chat, I'm not confirming that there's no Cyclonic Rift in the set. I'm saying this card is no Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, that is not. I see that. It's not what I'm trying to say. Just saying it's a little understated. It's elegant.
Yeah.
It's elegant. Love evacuation. All right.
What do we got next?
Also elegant is our final preview card, and this
final
is where
preview card. Man, this is
Highlander because this card is pointed, but it was originally
these prices are going to tank.
Commander, and I believe you originally designed this.
That's right. I designed this card all the way back in Battle Bond.
Oh yeah. What is it?
So we had a Imperial Recruiter and then Recruiter of the Guard. And I was like, let's keep this fun little super cycle going.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make the blue one. So let's give you
Spellseeker. And we've got fantastic new borderless art there on the right.
Spellseeker.
And this card
that is a spicy
all
card.
Matter of places. Certainly in Commander.
Battle Bond 17.
Even sees some Eternal play as well. Just
I like this new art. Man, that's a good looking art.
Out when it tutors up blink effects, that's pretty good because you get to use it a bunch more times if you're ephemerating.
It's a mythic now, which it was a rare previously, but I guess it's only been printed 3 times. So mythic now.
This is a competitive Commander staple. So when
this in a foil will be a $40 card easily.
Commander Masters, we wanted to hit a wide range of Commander players, right? So there's some cards that are definitely targeted
maybe even
more
50.
like,
I don't
hey,
know.
we're just battle cruisering Magic into each other. Let's play big creatures, smash you. And there's some that are, hey, if you're more.
What are they going to show us in the end step? They got to show us something in there. Because so far what they've showed us does not justify the price tag of this for Commander Masters.
Powerful Commander deck. This is a powerful one.
4 packs, $220. This set booster is the killer of all killers, man. That's so much money for 24 packs.
That's just phenomenal art and a cool little twist on this card.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so that does it for preview cards, but we have some time left, and we have Gavin Verhey here. So if you have questions about the set, about working on about any of the cards,
why so expensive?
Examples here. Go ahead and put them in chat. It'll help if you tag @Magic so I can see them a little bit better, and we will try to answer them. In the meantime, there are more previews coming today. And the next 2 weeks, Commander decks.
What are the texture cards?
Next week, including on this very show, we're going to do our first Commander deck preview.
I'm excited about the decks.
So which deck are we showing off on the show?
I forget.
If it's Corey, I bet it's the Planeswalker deck because it's got Commodore Guff.
Okay, it is. It is confirmed the Planeswalker deck.
Yeah, the decks are. Guff. Not to be a Rudy show here, but the decks are where the value are at in this, I think.
We have a bunch of questions. All right, so let's get to that.
Why wait?
All right.
I should know if you're going to have questions right away. What are we waiting for?
So let's see. Are you reprinting the free Commander spell cycles? You'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, if your question in general is this in the set, we're probably not going to tell you.
Yeah. So we've hinted at it. You're going to talk more about it tomorrow. But what are some of the draft archetypes?
Okay, draft archetypes.
What's tomorrow?
So do you want to just tell them all right now?
Yeah, go.
Okay, I'll go through it right now. So here's what we got. Blue-white is artifacts, so kind of like a go-white artifact deck. Blue-black is one of my favorites. It's like a graveyard reanimator deck, so you have like a little bit of flashback going on, but you also have some cheap reanimation spells you can bring stuff back with, so that's pretty cool.
Okay.
Black-red is sacrifice, kind of classic black-red combination. You can sacrifice some of those tokens. Red-green is power matters, so there's a lot of Magic cards that care about high power. Some are gated at a certain power number, some are just having high power, so that's pretty cool. And then green-white is kind of a go-wide deck with, make some tokens, go wide, put counters on them, that kind of thing. All right. Those are the allied colors. Going into the enemy colors, we've got white-black, which is token sacrifice. So once again, go wide or sacrifice your tokens. Whatever you feel like you're doing to those tokens.
Yeah. Anointed Procession in this set, maybe.
This is a slow tokens deck. Where you
should be.
Token value over time, get some morbid triggers, and as a little hint for you all, there's a Sapperling sub-theme you can draft. So that one is pretty
a sub-theme of sappiness.
There is a green-blue ramp deck. Yes, look, it works. What else do you want? You're gonna draw cards, play lands, and kill your opponents eventually with something. That's better. Blue-red is spells. Once again, oldie but a goodie. And red-white is equipment. Now, one of the things I want to stress with these draft
some red-white.
is we built these into the set. They're there. There are cards that care about them. But really, what we found is people kind of draft their commanders early and latch onto their commanders. And there's a lot of sideways stuff you can do with those commanders.
So
the draft archetypes are
generally
a little less
so
descriptive here
hard not to.
In any other set. Because so often
because if you're that third pack, you're like, man, why didn't I take that commander in the first pack?
All the goblins you can to try and build a goblin deck, which is certainly not a draft.
I have switched though.
Pretty cool thing to
Picked
do.
up one in the first, and then by I think
they're cool.
The third pack I changed it, but it was similar color type, so it didn't really matter.
It's allowed in this draft. So when you draft it, you'll probably have an experience you will never have quite again.
All right. A lot of questions about Pauper since you mentioned downshifts. So I'll ask kind of the most overall one. I know you mentioned some downshifts. How much were you thinking about Pauper's health while downshifting?
Yeah, so once again, I'll call out that I only did in case you missed it at the beginning, I only did the initial vision design for this set. So it was the very early, first couple months of design.
Pauper, very popular.
Brian, Hawley,
also,
design of the set. So
Commander Pauper, very fun.
I don't think Brian,
if you've done it, or if you haven't done it, try it out.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't
picking on uncommon legend, everything common in it.
With that said, I did
real
look at
fun.
the set at the end, and there are some pretty exciting downshifts and some cards that I know I'm stoked to see people try and give a handle on. So look, every Commander Legend set so far has had pretty big impact on Pauper. I think Commander Masters will also have a few cool cards for there too, including
good deal.
I guess I probably shouldn't say that, but there's one card that is finally in paper at common, which has never been printed at paper in common before, which I'm really excited about. So you'll see that in my preview
We'll get to that
tomorrow.
Preview article. Why don't they just do a bunch on this? Because this end step is not going to take them 30 minutes.
Playing the limited Commander Masters in Barcelona.
Well, the funny thing about going to Magic Cons is I have very little time to actually play Magic because I'm very busy doing everything else. But if I have extra time, it's definitely what I want to be doing. If you are going to Barcelona, though, be sure to check out both Game Nights Live, which I'll be a part of, as well as my Unknown event. I'm bringing it all the way to Barcelona.
Game Nights Live looks like it's going to be a blast in Barcelona.
Sign up for that, and I'll see you there.
Spice 8 Rack. He's always fun to watch with the professor. What else we got here?
We're moving very fast right now. I appreciate all the questions. I'm just trying to keep up. Let's see.
Come on.
Gavin, what is your favorite Magic card?
My favorite Magic card is the card Future Sight. It's an oldie but a goodie.
That's a good
Great
choice.
card. It's great for me because it's a triple threat. I love it because it inspires cool decks. I'll qualify for the Pro Tour with it in a tournament where basically no one else is playing Future Sight. And I love the card in Commander. It's like a no-pass and cube for me. So
very good, very good.
It's great.
Yep.
And I keep making effects like it. So if you keep seeing a bunch of play at the top of your library cards, it's
Are they not going to show us that stack?
Are there serialized cards
on that little
in
rack?
Collector boosters?
Oh, that's what I want to know. Serialized cards?
An article going up at the conclusion of this stream called Collecting Commander Masters.
Okay.
It's going to have all of the where to find this, what you can see.
But we don't know what's in it.
Things they found, that sort of deal. There are not serialized cards in this product.
Boo.
I did see, while we're on the topic of that, something that
I feel like they were both disappointed by that.
In the article.
Or are they disappointed by the question?
About are there retro frame cards in the set? And there are some basic lands with some pretty cool art. So
some art, retro frame lands? Cool,
when
cool.
it goes live, there's some Elena Danner lands, there's some Rebecca Guay lands, and some Mark Poole lands.
Okay.
definitely check out that article.
Continuing from like Dominaria Remastered of doing the
cool is when you crack open a pack of Commander
old border
Masters,
foil
you just have like a bunch of goodness.
lands.
Right? There's a lot of cards in there that will go right into your Commander decks. A lot of staples were shown off today. A lot of cool legends. And my hope is when you crack open a pack, you find stuff for your deck that you'll be excited.
My feeling about the way they're talking about this is it's obviously better than Baldur's Gate.
So we'll
but
go over this
not going to be good as
as
Commander Legends, the original.
Are there any new cards in this set? Will you talk about how that works?
Yeah, so the main set has no new cards. It's all reprints, although there might be some deep cuts that you might not know existed before, so keep an eye out for those. But in addition, there are 4 Commander decks, and each of those 4 Commander decks does have new cards. In the same way Commander decks normally have new cards. So once again, if you missed it, there are 4 Commander decks.
Only the decks have new cards. That's interesting. So that's
5 color slivers, 0 color Eldrazi.
That right there is going to drive the cost up. I mean,
stuff that,
unless I'm a complete idiot, doesn't that make sense?
We're like, what are
the cost will go up on the decks because there are new cards in each of those 4 decks that aren't anywhere else.
I lived Commander 2017. So stoked to finally bring it to life.
We'll see.
And hats off to Corey Bowen, who did a great job on it.
I have an interesting question that you may or may not be able to answer. I think I know the answer, but I don't know it for sure. So someone asked, of cards that are getting their first reprint in the set, which one basically came out first? What has been the longest run between
that's a good question.
Reprinted now and it originally being printed?
Oh wow, that's a great question. And I do not know the answer off the top of my head.
I feel like it's got to be one of the Portal cards.
Yeah, I mean, so we've already shown off Personal Tutor.
Personal Tutor,
right? And that came out.
Capture of Jingzhu.
Yeah, Personal Tutor came out. Its only printing was in Portal's Second Age, right, which is 97, 98.
Something like that.
That's a pretty long one. But the thing about master sets is sometimes there's like a weird common we found from like antiquities that we like dropped in for the first time. So I don't want to say that for sure, but Personal Tutor is definitely that's a deep cut one.
Personal Tutor is going to be a good
Portal
one.
Cards in the set, so I believe.
Is this set on Arena? No, it is not.
Is it on Magic Online?
I believe it's on Magic Online.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I know people had a lot of fun with Commander Legends.
Yep. Are there any new cards which are only available in the collector packs? So
no.
Yes, that is a great question. So the collector packs.
Yeah, what do these have for the price tag?
Some of the new Commander cards.
Okay, okay,
so
that makes
for
more
example,
sense.
The borderless version, or extended art version of the cards in the Commander decks, those can be found in the collector booster.
Gotcha. So you can only get those in the collector booster.
Yeah, and I'll just
and the
run
decks?
through the different frame treatments and where you can find them real quick. Again, this information is going to be in the collector
possibly could drive the cost up.
But it's great to go over here.
For
so
collector and
cards, we've
decks.
shown off a few
Okay, let's listen.
Can be found in any type of pack. Draft boosters, set boosters, collector boosters. There is at least one borderless card in every set booster.
Okay.
And collector boosters have 5.
Very nice.
There you go.
So you get 20 of them in one box because there's only 4 packs.
So that's like this little card here. You can find those in every pack. They are not in every. They're not in every pack of every pack, if that makes sense. You can't find them in every.
You can find them in every version. Gotcha. But there won't be one in every pack.
Profiles, same deal. You can find them in every pack. They will not be in every pack. Extended art commanders can only be found in collector boosters, but there will be one in every pack.
Okay, that's going to drive the price up.
Retro basic lands, which again are in, you can see in
only collectors, right?
Article. They're not in draft boosters, but there's one in every set booster.
And only foil and collector.
Additional foil in every collector.
That's what I like.
This article is going to go up right after this stream finishes, so go check it out.
Gavin's telling him to stop reading it.
Let's see. Okay.
What else we got?
Great question. We were talking about this right before the show. Will you be doing a teaser video hinting at cards coming in the pre-cons?
Should be out on Friday. So we're going to be previewing all the pre-cons next week. So we'll get through the main set previews this week, and then on Friday I'll hit you with some fun teasers for the pre-cons, let you speculate over the weekend.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for this.
So here's a good question.
Speculation.
Will there be special foil treatments like the Galaxy Halo or a new one? So yes. So we talked about this. We've got textured foils. If we can get in. There we go.
Pretty.
So what you see here, we showed this off before, and I actually took this actual.
$800 listed on TCG Player right now.
That's gorgeous.
So
it is really nice looking.
This is a textured
really nice
foil,
looking.
Jeweled Lotus.
They're getting good at the texture.
This is a foil etched.
Okay, that one's pretty.
So you can see the difference in those.
Very nice. This is what everyone wanted to see, right?
This was also the frame break. This is the textured
profile Ur-Dragon
in the profile.
Nice, nice. I like that.
Really pretty as well.
That looks cool with the profile, just having the single color.
That is a etched foil Ur-Dragon.
I keep checking to see if my boss is messaging me like, hey, what are you doing?
There are etched foils, textured foils, and regular foils.
Kind of washed out looking, but it is a dark art, so.
Signet. We'll show some of the
Soul Ring looks nice.
Soul Ring looks so
real nice.
Sick. Yeah. That's awesome. Oh, I'm going to be seeing that across the table for me.
Oh, yeah.
Medallion.
Here's that etched foil pearl medallion.
Yeah, those
all
are probably.
All 5 medallions back, in case you missed it earlier.
Yep.
Sometimes I like the etch, sometimes I don't. I don't know.
And then there's the traditional foil for comparison.
Okay.
Those side by side.
Congratulations.
The cleanest comparison we have.
Mono white players rejoice for pearl medallion.
What else? What else?
And there's that capturing zoo that we talked about.
It looks like shit in foil etched, I'm not gonna lie. I knew that one would look good in regular foil. I said that, didn't I? Just the mono color behind it. Man, that looks good. Like an old Pokemon card.
And there is an
Lantax.
foil Lantax.
Wow. So cool.
$60 card for sure. Now that I see it.
I love how
I like the white border on foil etch.
Wisps in the artwork like light up.
And that's it.
Foil.
Yep,
That's cool.
Absolutely. All right, let's.
He's pocketing all that shit. He brings in a coffee cup right next to those cards.
Yeah, if you have more questions, you can throw them in chat. Once again, I was just the early vision designer on this set, so I didn't make all the final calls. I don't know everything, but I'm happy to talk about what I do know.
To that end, all the questions about the pricing of packs, again, that is not Gavin's area. Gavin is on set design, so that's
he is not on pricing.
You. It's just not Gavin's area of expertise. It's the same reason we're not answering most arena questions or questions.
Why
like
so expensive?
Yeah,
Please tell me,
belief, I have
Gavin.
no coding ability whatsoever. I do not code arena. I can't help you out how
Tell me why price.
Okay, here's a question. What is the most recent set cards were pulled from?
New
That is a
Capenna.
really good
No.
question. I don't remember exactly everything that made it through, but pretty recent. I think there's some cards from. I don't think there's anything from March of the Machine or One, but maybe there's a Bro card in there, or DMU. I don't know for sure, especially because a lot of them are common cards that are help.
Dominaria United did have some legends.
I know there's a Modern Horizons 2 card in there, a couple other places. So there's definitely stuff from the past couple years, but I don't remember exactly where. With commons and uncommons especially, we kind of grab whatever we need to make the archetypes work, even if they're pretty recent. So yeah.
Okay, I've seen a bunch of good questions about pre-releases. So, a couple things. One, this set does not have a traditional pre-release. So, there are not pre-release packs. It's not, some stores may not run pre-release events. We have what are called preview events. You can draft. You can't purchase product, so it's not exactly the same thing. But premium WPN stores will be able to run preview events that are draft events the week before release. And let me run through the dates real quick to keep in mind. So today is when previews begin. Commander deck previews are July 17th through 20th, so that's next week. The full card image gallery will be up on July 21st.
Everything?
The pre-release with Loading Ready Run will then be the very next day on July 22nd. So we'll get the full set, and then Loading Ready Run will do its pre-release. And then the WPN Premium Store preview events are July 28th through 30th. So that's where, if you want to draft,
so not really.
Select stores
doesn't come out
will
August
be
2nd.
running preview events. And then the global launch is on August 4th. So July 28th, August 4th. That's the 2 release points. And then tucked in there, Command Zone's Extra Turns gameplay.
Ooh.
On August 2nd. So be sure to
that's
check
cool.
that out. So that's kind of the
So by then we'll know everything, especially with the.
Yeah, and I'll call out too. Just
I'm excited to see the new cards and the pre-cons that'll be in the collector packs as well.
Playing sealed with this set, but really draft is what the heart of the experience is, and so making these preview events about drafting as opposed to sealed made a ton of sense. So look at those.
So right now I'm looking, draft packs are $14.99 on TCG Players. So does that mean we're going to go to
have some stuff going on with the set
our LGS and pay $50 for a draft?
If you're in Europe over there, check it out.
That's rough.
Yeah.
I'll do it though, for the experience.
Before, let's rehash it here. We'll draft in the style of traditional Commander with 100 cards or Brawl with 60 cards.
Yeah, so Commander Draft is this time is done the same way it's been done in Commander Legends and Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. You're going to draft 3 20-card packs, picking 2 cards at a time.
I don't understand though. I know it's a master set. Why didn't they do a
60-card Commander deck,
pre-release
probably
set?
About 25 lands, 35 non-lands.
Just make it cheaper, 3 packs and a promo.
They could have done it. And you have to hit color identity rule and all that good stuff. Now, once you start playing, it's just like Commander. Once you start playing, it's 40 life, free mulligan, all that normal stuff. And then the one thing that's actually often missed is, a lot of people don't know this, there's a fun fact for those watching.
Ooh,
if you're drafting a normal set, I'll pick any Magic set in history, and if you draft 5 copies of a card, you can play all of them, right? If you draft 6 lightning bolts, you can play all of them in your draft deck, and that sounds pretty good. You should do that. So in Commander Legends Limited, the singleton rule similarly does not apply. If you manage to draft multiple copies of a card, you can play all of them. So if you draft 3 Soul Rings, I recommend playing all of them, and your deck will be pretty strong, and you can play all of them. So that's one small tweak you should know about. And that's just a draft rule, and I think, once again, Legends does some fun things where, oh man, I never get to play with 2 copies of this card in Commander, but I get to do it here.
3 Soul Rings by turn 4, you have 9 mana. Ready to ball out.
Are there, we've seen 3 color cards. Are there any 4 color
Of course there are.
You have to wait and find out.
Ooh.
I can say
there
we've
are some
definitely
5
gone above 3 colors because we've already shown off Dragon, who is 5 colors. So certainly 4 color is on the table, but yeah, wait and see the set. If I say yes to that, it really narrows down the number of cards that could possibly be there. So
it's a yes.
Wait and find out.
This is a question just for you, Gavin. Future Sight, do you like the original or the skull art?
Oh, I'm original. That's what I qualified for the Pro Tour with. So Fairies with a Future Sight, no one could beat it. It was great.
For draft, could you partner Krenko with Krenko?
Yes, you can double partner the same legend. All the normal rules apply to that, so their command tax will go up separately, and I would not recommend casting them at the same time.
Yep.
But yeah, I believe you can do that.
Okay. Do the extended
an interesting little wrinkle
in foil? Yes.
Yes.
Is the answer. Is there a colorless draft archetype?
There's very few colorless cards in the set, colorless legends in the set to start with.
Yeah.
So you're not likely to end up with one. So there's not really a draft archetype. But I'll give you a hint. If you draft a colorless legend, you're probably going to want a ramp to cast it, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about the colorless legends that exist. Most of them you're going to need a lot of mana for. So Kozilek being a great example of this. You got to get up to 10 mana. So I recommend pairing it with green is usually a safe bet, or blue so the game will go along and you'll hit your land drops. But I mean, maybe you draft land tax and you hit all the land drops you need to cast.
All the land drops all the time. Yeah.
Mono white Eldrazi. Let's go.
Let's go.
You could do it. You could do it. Did you say the PPR was the 22nd? I did. I did say that. Can we have Scion of the Dragon? I don't know. Maybe. Let's see.
One thing I'll say about the design of the set is normally in precons, we don't put tutors in there, right? Unless it's like a basic land tutor, Evolving Wilds, Cultivate, because it's just complicated. You go buy a precon, you've never played it in your life, you play a tutor and you're like, what card do I go get? One thing that's really fun about our draft environments and our sets is because you're building your deck, you know what's in there. So there's a little bit more tutoring here. We've already shown off Personal Tutor, Spellseeker. So some of those big tutor hits.
Are they in the precons though?
Some of them you'll find here in this
That'd be cool.
So, Sign of the Dragon, normally not a card you really find, but could be on the table. I'm not saying it is or isn't in here, but it could be on the table.
Could be,
because of that rule.
Yep. Which of the precons are you most excited for?
Well, I mean, I love them all, obviously. You know, they're exciting themes for me, but I got to root for my boy Commodore Guff. You know, I've wanted to get Guff printed for a long time. It's finally here. It's a really cool theme. But I will say that in design, so I led the initial version, the initial design. I picked out the deck themes before handing it off to Corey. The deck that I actually led in the design process was the Slivers deck. So one of the fun things I got to do without giving anything away was finding all the neat commander things would be cool for Slivers to do and then putting them on. So for example, the face card, Sliver Gravemother, has Encore, so it's a fun commander-only ability to grant your Slivers. Not the only thing like that you'll be seeing, so there's some fun ones in there.
I'm excited because there's 10 new cards in that deck. What are they going to be? 10 new Slivers? Ooh.
I think the colorless one, but only because
Or sorceries, enchantments that target slivers?
The colorless one, led by
artifacts that
Daniel
target slivers,
the
possibly?
challenge, in my opinion, because you just don't get, for the most part, you don't get instants or sorceries, right? You've got to do it the old-fashioned way. And I'll even let you know, I guess I'll just give it away now, that there is at least one new colorless instant or sorcery in the deck, so that's cool. You can look forward to that.
Yep.
Nice.
Or
lands that target slivers?
And so that's a very interesting design challenge.
Are there any more cards from Portal being reprinted?
I think almost certainly there are cards from Portal and Portal Second Age and Portal 3 Kingdoms in this set that we have. There's more than one of them. I don't remember how many there are, and there might not be the spicy ones you're looking for. So I don't want to say anything for sure. But I love digging in those old reprints. We've seen Personal Tutor and Capture of Zhao already. Yeah. So I guess stay tuned.
You may or may not know the answer to this one. Art's not your area, but you might have seen it. You may know. We'll ask it. Will there be any cards newly themed for Innistrad like Personal Tutor was for Strixhaven?
Yeah, so one really cool thing, we haven't talked about that much on the stream today, Blake, but one awesome thing about the set is we did get a ton of new artwork. Yes. There's a ton of cards from common all the way up to rare that have new artwork on them, which is really cool. And I love the chance to get to reface some of those commons and uncommons that have just used the same art piece over and over.
Yeah, fancy up your deck. Fancy up a pauper deck.
I would guess, given that Innistrad is one of our most popular planes, there's always zombies rolling around somewhere, that there probably are some new cards set on Innistrad, but I don't know for sure. But I'd say probably. Very good chance.
Probably.
I think you can answer this. Is the colorless precon an Eldrazi-focused deck or a colorless-focused?
Yeah, that's actually a great question because we talked about this a lot in the design process.
Yep.
It's very easy to call it
colorless
an Eldrazi deck because the face card is an Eldrazi, you've already seen it, and there are, of course, Eldrazi in the deck, but it is a colorless-focused deck. So while there is some Eldrazi stuff going on, colorless is the name of the game. So one of the fun things for us was finding things that are colorless but not Eldrazi to put in there and create. So for example, there's a new card set on Ikoria in the decks, and Ikoria had some of those colorless creatures lying around, so you can expect a few things that are not just Eldrazi. Of course, Eldrazi are a big piece of colorless, so you'll expect those too.
Yep. Now, I don't think we've looked at any. Are there
just spill it right on them cards?
Uncommon legends.
There are 2-color uncommon legends in the set. I don't believe there are any 3-color uncommon legends in the set. I can't say that for 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But yeah, there's 2-color uncommons.
Yeah.
And the 2-color uncommons, by the way, are often your signposts for the limited archetypes. So when you see them, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
That's the thing I want.
I was to say, I ended up playing an uncommon in the Baldur's Gate.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there is, but I can't say for sure. As the person who just did vision design on the set, and then it's all reprints, I don't know the final art.
Sorry, I'm not talking much. I just trying to listen to all the questions
here.
here.
For one last question before we have to go.
See if prices are plummeting.
Sure. Is that a new room you're in? Looks very cozy. I haven't caught a stream in a while, but heard something about a new office space. Yes, we are in our second office, I guess. We moved out of the Renton space. We're going to be moving back into a different Renton
Collector
space.
boosters went up $5.
In the interim, we are in this non-Renton space, but it's really cool. This is
they were listed
and this is a table that many games of
$219, and now they jump back up to $225 a box.
And we just happen to be streaming here. So
I think the fact that there's going to be those 10 new cards in each deck set, and those will only be available in the collector box, I think that's going to drive the prices up a little bit. I mean, I've said it already, but
we'll be doing a little bit of both. So
I just don't understand this price. I don't understand the set booster. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I know it's 24 packs.
After that, I'm streaming.
And next week, more Commander Masters.
Just a lot.
Next week, more Commander Masters. So here's the upcoming schedule.
$380 for a set
start
box.
Today. There are more previews. We just had the tip of the iceberg. There's plenty more coming. We tried not to take too much spice just for this show, so there's a lot.
Yeah, but they really didn't show much of anything.
If you check out dailymtg.com, there is an article called "Where to Find Commander Masters Previews" that will have a list and some links to where those previews can be found today and.
Well, hopefully they gave some of the previews to some creators and
Commander previews for
that'd
the
be
decks.
Better idea than just showing them all here, I guess.
Decks will happen the 17th through the 20th. We're going to be doing one deck each day, including here on this show with Corey next week. We'll be doing the Planeswalker deck.
Go Guff.
Go Guff. Yeah, big fan of Commodore Guff. Other than that, definitely
Governor
check out
Guff.
Daily MTG for that collecting article, and look for more previews around the web. And then you've got an article on draft archetypes and such coming out tomorrow.
I've got an article and video coming out tomorrow with draft archetypes, and it has a ton of preview cards, like I think 10, 15 preview cards.
Oh, nice.
So check it out tomorrow. A lot of the juice to make draft work is in there, and I talk about some fun downshifts too. So
I mean, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't show more here today. I'm going to be honest.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
So.
It's it's going to be a big ass set with like 400 cards or something stupid. But yeah, I guess it is what it is. That was it. Just a nice little stream, quick stream. Thought I'd jump on here real quick for an hour, take a break for work. This is my lunch break. And if you stuck around and watched this, hope you enjoyed. Check out prices. They haven't changed too much. Let's see. We'll update here. Yep. Collectors at 224. Decks are still sitting at 327. Draft 295 and set 379. Whew. Here's some of those profiles they were talking about. Crazy. This is just the borderless, not even textured. Wild. There was a textured one up here. Somebody must have bought it. No way. It was listed at 800. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no one's bought that. Somebody pulled one and super early, and they said, well, I'm gonna shell it for 800. If it's anything like the textured from whatchamacallit, Double Masters 2, 2022, you'll see that 800 shrink to 175 in the next 6 months. But so if you really, really want that, don't buy it right away. And you'll see these Jeweled Lotuses probably go down in general since it's finally printed a second time. Commander staple though. And man, this is the deck he was hyping up. So far, that's the shittiest price deck of the three. I mean, it's good price, but for 327, that's the smallest piece of the pie there. I think people were most excited about this because there are new cards printed in it, and everyone loves, not everyone, a lot of people seem to love slivers, and if you're getting some new slivers or new sliver type mechanical cards, they're going to want that. Who knows, maybe this Planeswalker one won't be in like the best because everyone's sleeping on it, but we'll see. All right, thanks for tuning in. If you checked me out today, go check out my latest video. I still need to post my last eBay buy. Had some sweet finds in there. Spoiler alert, found a very, very expensive Pack Fresh reserve list card from I can't remember where it was from. It's been a while. I filmed it in February, just haven't posted it. But yeah, go check